The first episode of Oversharing.
You got it wrong already.
Fuck.
I feel like until we get a proper audience grip on it, the name is going to be either unqualified and oversharing or underqualified and oversharing. I think we see what people like more.
Underqualified and oversharing. I prefer that one.
Yeah, because it's over.
Under over.
Sounds
Let's
better.
do that.
Anyway.
Welcome to Underqualified and Oversharing.
We're here.
The first episode we are bringing to you live from the Shared Mind studio. The guys there have been great and let us borrow that studio.
We did move their furniture though.
We did move it around.
They're going to be pissed when they come back and see that we didn't move it back either.
And for anyone listening that is a fan of our Instagram but don't listen, we are the Shared Minds podcast, but now we have two podcasts.
Yeah, so we're not abandoning the other one. We're not abandoning the Shared Minds. It's just we had all the equipment. It's something that we always wanted to do because people love me and Liam for me and Liam. Our differing opinions, the way that we banter and we go backwards and forwards. So it's a show that we've been thinking about for a while, but we wanted to get the Shared Minds to a point where it was pretty automated, and we didn't have to not put a lot of effort into it, but it's pretty well automated now that we feel like we can now expand.
Yeah, we've got a management team now that's looking after all the other stuff that we needed to do. So now we've got a lot of free time throughout the week.
Yeah, so we were like, let's do this. Something we've always wanted to do.
Start another show. And I thought it'd be fun. Like we thought it'd be fun to like bring people in on it as well.
Yeah,
because like there's some funny ones here.
And like and like people, you know, I love the Shared Minds and I love the mental health and I love the way that it helps people, but unfortunately like there's a lot of people that just sometimes aren't in the mood for listening to inspiring things or mental health stories, or you just want to have a laugh. So
yeah, because I was
bring our
saying the
humour
other
to
day,
this one.
Well, I was saying the other day, now that I'm on the other side of my mental health, I don't really go looking for those anymore unless it's like quite an interesting story that relates. So I was like,
but we're still destined to help people in that way, but we want to help people in every way that we can. So even if, you know, these are Friday mornings and we go, you got one day left until the weekend, have a laugh with us to get through your Friday.
Yeah, we don't have to, this can just go any way it wants. There's no structure to this.
If we want to stream us playing MLB The Show, we can.
Yeah, we can do whatever. So
welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome all. Well, I think the name, if we can ever get it right, will actually give that away a bit. But it's underqualified and oversharing.
I think it's unqualified.
You said under before. Under over. Fuck. This is the start.
We'll start
the
start of a new show.
So it's basically we want to hear, because people have so many stories that need to be shared. That like if just embarrassing moments,
they're just
cringy things that you've done, fuck ups that you've had, like dating horror story nightmares, things people have said to you, things people have done to you, things you wished you hadn't done, things you wished you had done. And yeah, just because it's going to be 100% anonymous. Someone said to me this morning, why don't you go out and interview people in public? And I said, well, people might hold back a bit because there's
a camera in their face.
There's a face there. But I was like, voicemail, 100% anonymous. You can rag on your boss if you want. You can go hell for leather. And we're going to sit here and we're going to laugh our asses off about it, as will everyone else. And then we might give you some unsoundly advice.
Yeah, we'll give you some great advice that I wish I had. It's not qualified advice. It may mean nothing either.
And I wouldn't actually listen to it. I wouldn't actually listen to it either.
My dating history's not great. Not really good. I was actually thinking about a date the other day that I went on with that model and I got dry mouth.
You did do that, yeah.
And she picked up on it as well. She literally said to me, she goes, are you all right? I said, I just need to get some water.
You're like, nah, babe,
and then I had like
not.
3 schooners. And I was just a bit drunk after that. A little bit unhinged.
Still dry mouth.
Unhinged, off hinge. No, that wasn't off hinge, that one actually.
Still dry mouth though.
Oh yeah. I haven't been on too many. I've been on a few dates now. They've all gone pretty well. There's been a couple. I did go on one not long ago, and it was pretty like talking to a wall. There wasn't. It was one of those ones where I'm asking all the questions, and I'm like, Can you ask me just one? It'd be nice to have one question asked because I know a lot about you, and I probably know more than I care to know, to be honest.
It's like trying to communicate with you when you got your head in your phone.
Hey. But yeah, it's like I was kind of like, well, like I'm probably not going to see you again, so I don't need to know much more. Do you know what I mean?
No, I get that, definitely. And then I've got one as well, but I want to share it after we get in. We'll start with some of the voice recordings.
All right, we'll start. I won't say a name, actually. All right.
Now, I unfortunately have actually listened to this one, so it is so funny, but I wish I hadn't listened to it.
This one's funny. We'll play this.
Pause it after the first one, and then we'll get in, because she's got 3 there. So
Shift 3. All right.
Yeah.
All right, I'll play this one. Hopefully it's not too loud.
I have 2 really bad ones. So my first ever date since I got divorced, a guy within 5 minutes of having a Costa breakfast date said, "Can we talk about your kinks?" I'm like, if I have to. And he came out with, "I like it when girls fart on me. So if you've got one brewing, don't keep it in."
I love that if you've got one brewing, don't keep it.
he was loaded and ready to go.
I love how he goes for the kink straight away. It's like half an hour into the day.
Well, one thing that I have always said to you, because like I'm married now and then you're in the dating world, I said, you've got to be so clear with the person you're on the date with of your intentions. You know, I was very clear about I'm dating to get married and I'm dating for this and this. That guy's taken the advice.
I think farting's rogue.
Probably a bit far, though.
I seen a girl for 3 months and didn't fart. I reckon it's awkward as farting. But then again, for the lovely lady that sent that through, how does she not know that she's into it?
Well, she said she was weirded out.
But did she try it? Is
is
that one of those ones that when it happens you go, didn't mind it? Didn't mind getting farted on.
I mean, like, it's half an hour in, he's wild. But, like,
there's confidence in that.
Props to him for the confidence and knowing what he wants.
Because I don't think I've talked about farting too much with girls at all, actually. I find it kind of... when it comes to dating, I actually find it quite funny that people pretend that they don't pee or poo and fart. Like, they pretend they pee. No, you pretend that you don't fart or poo for a bit of time, and then it kind of breaks into a little bit.
Yeah, it sneaks its way in.
I think that's a rogue start going for the fart. But again, I think it's a man that knows what he wants. Because if he likes that and she's not willing to do it, can't die without getting farted on.
I know.
I love how he's like, if you've got one brewing.
If you've got one brewing. And I know it's a different, like, perspective. Well, not perspective, but it's like, you know, if someone's dating and they want children eventually, imagine getting 2 years in and going like, I want children. And she goes, oh, I wish you told me that at the start. And then he peels out. Imagine 2 years in, he goes, oh, I really like you farting on me. And she goes, that's really weird. And then leaves him. You're better off knowing straight off the bat, right?
I don't know, farting. Farting. I don't think that's one I'd be into. I don't think that's one that I would like.
I can tell you straight off the bat, it's not for me.
Not if it smells either, eh?
Nah, no comment.
No, I'll comment. Give me a bit of time. Maybe.
Hard no.
Maybe after a bit of time I might like it. Maybe I like you and I like you fart.
I've been farted near in bed and stuff, and I can't see on.
You've got to know someone to fart. It's not like it's not like a one night stand where that's something that you go for instantly. But then again, each to their own. People are into that.
But what if like there's someone who really likes farting on people? They're gonna have a really hard time finding someone. He's out there asking people at point blank, "Hey, do you?" So I'm into farting. She goes, "Me too."
Let's flip the script on this guy. Maybe he's sick of looking. Maybe
he's been looking for 10 years.
Maybe he's been looking and he's just thought, fuck this, I'm over it. I'm sick of waiting, Nate. I've dated 8 chicks now, they won't let me fucking fart on them. Maybe he's in the right there.
Props to him.
Again, I've gone a long time in relationships without farting, and he's straight off the bat.
Maybe he got a really bad, maybe he just suffers from really bad irritable bowel syndrome, but he's I can't hold him in, so you've got to be into
Maybe
it
he's
too.
projecting. Maybe he likes farting in front of people and he just wants to open that gate there and then. Maybe he's avoiding that awkwardness. I don't know.
All right, we've got more.
All right, she's got
Keep
more.
going.
She's got more. I can't remember the rest of hers. All right, hang on.
I instantly froze and
It's the accent as well, eh? If you've got one brewing.
wanted to get out of there because that's not sexy and that was really uncomfortable.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, she
And
doesn't
the
like
other
it.
one, he took me ice skating, didn't speak the whole time, and then pulled me down because he fell. Nearly broke my arm but snapped the tendon and wouldn't take me to A&E. I had to wait in the car park for my mum to come and pick me up because I couldn't drive home because my arm was that swollen, and he just left.
Oh, no. I was about to say, I wonder if he just left. Yeah, I think there's more.
Yeah, my first dates experiences
That's
aren't
good, isn't it?
all that great. Many other ones that went bad. I had a guy who talked about pork crackling for half an hour and the barman could see and knew that I was struggling and took me some games to help me.
I wonder if pork crackling and farting go the same way. There's a good chance, eh?
They would coincide. But that second one, dude did not speak
Left,
once.
eh?
No, well, firstly, he
Did she
didn't
say that?
speak.
I didn't hear that.
She said he didn't speak once on the date.
Oh, I didn't hear
and
that.
then fell over and dragged her down. So he said nothing the entire time and then left her there.
Oh, leaving's fucking bad, eh?
Especially after you've said nothing to him the whole time.
Wonder what the conversation at the end of the date was when he just left.
He would have
He's
just...
like, oh, you're stuck here. I'm going to go anyway. I got somewhere to be. I'm going to go get some pork crackling.
Do you reckon he went in for a kiss? She's sitting
He
there
might
with
have.
her arm inflamed.
He
like-
might have. I reckon she might have shared that. The pork crackling one too is a bit weird as well. I feel like maybe that's his hobby, pork crackling.
He could be a barbecuer.
I've had people like that talk about like certain things that you have no interest in, and they keep going, and it just makes it really, really unbearable.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, if it's the guy's hobby, if he's into barbecuing and stuff. But, like...
I feel like that's a distinct audience, though. Like,
But you
that's-
got to read the room, right?
I don't think any woman's keen, or me even, is keen to hear about your pork crackling.
I love pork crackling. I'll put my hand up.
Yeah,
but
but I don't
but
wanna
I'm
talk
not going
about
to
it.
talk about it for half an hour.
I don't want to fucking hear
It'd
about
be
it.
like, do you like pork crackling? Yeah, I love pork crackling. Oh, I make great pork crackling. That's
Anyway.
all you need to touch on.
That's as far as it needs to go. Poor
and then
chick.
then the barman stepping in and giving her free drinks to get her through it.
Poor chick, eh? Yeah, I
That
find
bar
it.
keeps a legend.
Like I've been pretty lucky with my dating. I can't say I've experienced anything like that. Anyone that's, I couldn't handle a date with somebody that doesn't talk.
Oh,
And I
it's-
can't handle
It's tough.
5 seconds of silence. If it's silent for 5 seconds, I would rather get forks and hit them in my eyeballs.
Yeah.
Because that awkward, maybe they don't feel it, but I do. I can feel the awkwardness.
Yeah.
And then I start oversharing.
Especially when you can feel they have nothing in the tank ready to go. Like if you sit there and you're talking and there's a bit of silence and you can see them thinking of something, but when they sit there with a blank face, like they've got nothing.
Wait, I
it's-
deleted that. Oh, I've clicked the wrong button. I came back.
Anyway, yeah,
nearly deleted it.
when they're sitting there with nothing, giving you nothing, it's tough.
I went
And you
on-
can see that they're not even going to think about contributing either.
It's awkward when you do an eating date and there's nothing to talk about and they kind of just sit there and eat. I find it awkward when you like go over to somebody's house that you barely know and you just watch a movie and you don't talk at all. Like I feel like I'm just sitting there chomping at the bit. I'm like, this is fucking awkward.
You want to talk about the movie, but then you're like...
Not even
"Oh."
that. I'm like, this is just like, are they even watching the movie? Are they wondering if I need to start a conversation?
Everyone's sitting there just awkward.
All right, we got another one. I can't remember this one.
I haven't listened to the others.
We listened to them as they came in just to make sure that they weren't too crazy. Well, they can be crazy, but it depends.
Hey, I've got the worst dating story of my life. I went on a date with a guy after we were talking for probably maybe a day. He invited me out for a coffee. It was 7:30 at night. We went up at the beach, went to this local cafe. We sat down, ordered drinks. And then he commented on my necklace. I had a crystal jade necklace on. He goes, "Are you into that spiritual stuff?" I said, "Yeah, I do tarot readings for fun. I have crystals and blah, blah, blah." Then he said, "Yeah, I actually really got really obsessed with that stuff too, to the point where it was like really bad. But then I found Jesus, and he told me it was the devil's work. That should have been my first point to leave this date. I did not. It gets worse." We got our drinks, we went for a little walk along the beachfront, and then he immediately starts bad-mouthing his ex, saying that she's crazy, she's got bipolar, she's all these bad things, and then they broke up just over a year ago, and that she had made reports to child protection and to the police, and he had his children removed. At this point, I hadn't told him that my job was a social worker in child protection. Basically went on a date with a client. He made some really fun comments as well. So he said, I understand how people murder their ex. I came really close to it myself. Jesus told me to wait. Seriously, I should have left at the first comment, but I didn't.
Oh. That's a psycho, eh?
But I love the fact that he's there.
That's a psycho.
But like he's sitting there ripping into the child services and goes, so what do you do? After like 25 minutes, child service.
That made me nervous. Imagine walking with him and then he says, oh, he was going to kill his ex but never did.
But like...
Jesus told him to wait. Oh.
But then add the level onto that, right, where he's just sat there. He's walked along for fucking half an hour.
See, this is the thing of oversharing. He just didn't know what else to talk about.
Yeah, didn't know what else.
He ran out of things.
He ran out of things to talk about. To talk about his ex. But like, imagine, right, half an hour of talking about how much you hate an individual for that job that they do. Then go, what do you do? And you do that job on top of him saying he almost murdered his ex-wife, but he didn't. And you're on the beach with this guy.
Oh. I don't even know what you do in that predicament. I did get told about somebody that went on a date the other day, similar thing, and they were on the beach and the guy tried to kiss him and they put their hand up and they were like, hey, nah. And I thought, that's awkward as.
Oh.
Wonder if he's gone in for the kiss.
Wow. Wow. That's intense.
I don't think I've ever had a date like half as bad as either of
But
these.
for a first date,
I wonder if he recovered. Like if he recovered it and they ended
clearly not.
I don't think.
But for a first date to be talking about your ex and your breakups, pretty red hot.
To then go in to say that he was going to kill his wife until Jesus told him not to and to just wait.
He probably thought that she would see that as a really good thing. Like, oh, that's nice.
And then he thought the devil's work was the tarot reading. There's some weird people out there.
Oh,
when
that's
it comes,
funny.
That's a question I've wondered because it does come up a lot in dating. Can you talk about your ex on a date? Is that maybe not a first date?
I think a first date's a bit rough. And unless one of the people open the playing field of being like, I don't know who would in like on a first date. So go tell me about your exes.
I've had that a couple of times. But because I've been open about it on the podcast, maybe they've listened to it and wanted to know more.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a bit of a weird thing. I feel like, I don't know.
Because it's like, if it were me and if a girl said, tell me about your exes, my first thought would be either she's not over hers, she's still talking to hers, or she's the insanely jealous type that will get so like, if an ex is still on the scene.
Sometimes it comes down to, I don't know if you can talk about it. I think at some point you can. First date's a bit rogue. Sometimes you can talk to people on a first date and you're like, oh, you're not over your ex, eh?
No.
That was probably me like a few months ago. No,
Well,
like 6 months ago.
Well, like, yeah.
She blonde.
Yeah. No, that's... And again, I think it... I don't know, like, for you to talk about your ex on a first date, it means that they must have some involvement in why you're there or they've had a huge impact on you. You know, if you were living in a one-bedroom unit and they'd be like, oh, so where are you living? Oh, I'm living in a one-bedroom unit above a laundromat because when I broke up with my ex, I lost the house. That's an understandable
That's a good segue into it.
But, like, to just straight up say, Jesus told me to not murder her.
That's probably something you say for at least the third date, maybe the never.
But again, that could have been a blessing in disguise because...
He's a murderer.
She could have ended up with him a long time.
He'll be a killer.
See,
it's weird, eh? Like, you can't even go to the police with that.
Yeah.
And he might do it one day. We need to get... We actually haven't... Is this top one a man?
I don't know.
Because you never really hear about men having horror story dates.
Do it into the mic here so I can hear it.
Right on.
All right, 90 seconds. So at the start of the year, I had recently moved to Queensland and I was basically on a dating frenzy. I messaged these two men that lived on the Gold Coast to see if one of them wanted to meet up for a coffee. And I
Leaving the options
met
open.
up with the one that replied first. And then while I was with that one, the other one replied. I obviously ignored him because he was too slow. And yeah, caught up with the guy. He was nice. He invited me back to his house to go and take his dog for a walk, which I agreed to. And I walk in, and he's like, oh, my housemate's probably home. And I walk in, and I do a double take at the bloke that's in the house. It was the same bloke from the dating app, the other one. They live together.
Oh, so it's off an
What are
app.
the chances of that? The whole Gold Coast. I messaged two men to catch up for coffee, and they live together. Anyway, I was like, hi. So awkward. And then the guy that I'd been on the date with was like, oh, do you two know each other? I was like, oh, not really. And then I was like, oh, look, I messaged you both. And yeah, I obviously went for a date with you because you messaged me back first. And then they proceeded to have sort of a joking but not joking argument about who was better and if I'd picked the right one to go on a date with. I honestly just wanted the ground to just suck me up and remove me. It was so awkward.
What do you even do?
Oh, no.
What happens if you're more attracted to the second one?
Oh, no.
I don't know what you do if you're more into the second one.
Oh, no. That's so bad. That's so awkward.
What the fuck would you do,
That's so...
I'm trying to think now. Could have played it off.
But, like, as she said, the odds of the entire... she messaged two men on the entire Gold Coast on a dating app, and they both live together. Like, that's unlucky. That's really unlucky.
Yeah, I don't really know what you do in that scenario either. Like, what if you met the other one and they seem nice? Do you then proceed to, after that, go on a date with the other one?
I think you have to just drop both of them, right?
Do you reckon?
No, well, as you said, if the first guy gets really arky and goes, ooh, and then the second guy's like, no, I get it, it's fine. You go, he's really nice, I'd like to do something with him, but then it's really awkward because then you have to see him every time.
You won't be going over their house after that, will you?
No. Always back to mine.
This is why people hate dating so much.
This is why people avoid it, eh?
That's awkward and uncomfortable.
Yeah. I could not even tell. As she said, I just hope the earth swallowed me up. That's the only thing that I could have suggested is just running away.
I'm trying to think how you'd counteract it. I don't really think you can do anything. I think
No amount of wit and humour will get you out of that scenario.
I'd get out of that.
Oh,
You've got
the awkwardness of it though, because he now knows. Because the second guy,
Do you reckon he hit her up
that,
after?
Oh, I don't know, Harry. She would have said
We
it.
need more context to these stories, eh?
But like, he was like she was ignoring the second guy, so he knows that the reason she didn't respond is because he was on a date with the housemate. It sounds like one of those sitcom TV show moments, you know, like that always end up like that.
At least they played it off and had fun with it, though.
She
Because that
said-
would have been awkward if he got a little bit fiery.
She did say passively aggressively. So
We love a bit of passive and aggressive.
we love passive.
Well, that's a little like because we had a few more, but
But they were all messages, so we didn't want to read them out because they wouldn't have the same flair of hearing their... You know, like those ones, you hear the passion behind the voice, and when she said, I just wanted to hold
it's
a
like the
swallow me
first
up,
one.
eh?
It's like the first one.
Yeah, if you've got an accent, the better. But like,
But that's it. That's
Yeah.
how we wanted to, put the like how to do the show.
yeah.
And then do more and more. Unfortunately, the way we got so many at the start with the
Yeah.
voice, but we had to do it off this third-party app. So we're going to try. I think it works pretty well.
It works really well, the app.
It's pretty easy.
It's so easy. You literally click the link and there's a button that says record. You hit record, and when you finish recording, it's got name optional, email address optional. So you don't even have to fill in your name.
Yeah, two of them were anonymous.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to put anything
Yeah.
in.
And like we were trying to do it through Instagram, but then you can't voice memo us for some annoying reason. But then, yeah, it's so easy and it's 100% anonymous.
I reckon just anything when it comes to X, dating, even just socially awkward moments. I
Yeah.
fucking love them.
Yeah.
For
Should I
it.
tell my dating one?
Oh yeah, do that.
So there was I went on a date a few years ago. It was only one date. We only got one out of it. So I can't even remember how old I was at this point, but anyway, she was very fit, very into fitness, very into the gym, into CrossFit and all this kind of stuff. And I've asked her out on a date, and we've gone out on this date, and we've pulled up to the place in Burleigh, and I've said to her, "Oh, do you want a drink?" And she goes, "Yeah, I'll have a apple juice." I went, "Apple juice?"
You're like, righto.
And I went,
That'll be fun.
"Oh," and she was a very quiet person as well. So and
have an apple
because we were in Burleigh, it was so loud. She's like, "Oh, I'll have an apple juice." I went, "Okay," but because she was so into fitness and gym, I thought, "Oh, she doesn't like drinking alcohol." Okay, I've gone to the bar. And I've gone, I'll get my Jack Daniel and Coke. And I've turned to her and I've gone, and an apple juice, like as a piss take. And she's gone, "Huh?" And she just nodded to me. And I went, "Okay." And I've turned back to the barman and I've said, "And an apple juice for this one." And then we've gone and we've sat down and we're sitting and we're drinking and we're just chatting. And I think I finished my drink. And I went, "So why just an apple juice?" I said, "You don't want any like vodka or tequila?" And she kind of sat there and looked at me and really awkwardly kind of went, like didn't say yes or no, just, And I went like what? Not even going to try a scotch or a gin? And after ripping into her for a few times, I kind of went, "You did want vodka in that, didn't you?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I went, "Oh."
You know what though? You know what? She could have said that ages before. Ages before.
Yeah, she had plenty of opportunity, but
Was there a kiss at the end of that day?
I can't remember. I honestly cannot remember. And then I went up and got her a vodka and apple juice and got another drink. But I just remember sitting there and you know when you're sitting in your chair and you just want the chair to just eat you and you're like, oh. It was so embarrassing.
How long did the date go for, do you think?
Probably an hour and a half or something.
Where was it? The Pav?
Yeah.
And she was already quiet as well.
Yeah, and it was one of those ones where you said where like they were really hard to get conversation out of. I don't know if she was just nervous, it was too loud, or if it's just her personality, but it was really hard to try and get info
you on a
out.
date with someone that's not a yapper.
Oh,
You would have just been chomping.
it was this. Like, so what are you doing?
Have you watched Pitch Perfect and there's that girl that whispers?
Yes.
That's her, right?
Yes.
I'll just get an apple.
But then the part that was even worse about it is she worked very, very close to my work, so I saw her a lot of times. Head down and just kind of walk past her, and it was oh, if it could have, if I could have just left at that moment, I would have.
I can't say I've fucking had a date like that before, eh?
Ugh.
Yeah, I pre-qualify a lot for dates. In that way. Not that sounds like not the right way to say it. But like, yeah,
You do
you've got to
your
get
due diligence.
You do your due diligence. Like you've got to get a voicemail. You've got to get there because I didn't do that once, and it was the same as that date where we just sat there. It was kind of just going nowhere, and I knew very quickly that it was not going to go much further.
Yep.
And then it won't it was a bit awkward in the car because I didn't know if like we were going to kiss or, and I was just like, "See you later." Give a little
got
pat on
out.
the shoulder.
Gave the car like a little for the driver to go.
Time to go.
Yeah, see ya. On the boot of the car, and the driver takes off.
I'll try and think of my worst dating story for the next one, but I can't.
Yeah. Well, like because this concept was only pitched less than 24 hours ago.
Yeah, we thought about it like,
we got
yeah.
so much response immediately, and we went, let's just get the first one out so people can see what we're doing, because obviously the better voice memos we get and the better inbound interaction we get from listeners, the better the show will be. So if we don't get anyone send us anything in, we just won't do one that week.
Yeah,
If
which
we
I know
get-
that we will, but we need to figure out a way to have that link. Because the first one we got like 10 messages, but I did the story wrong in the link, and fuck, I got to do it properly.
Yeah, but then like if it's a typed out message, I don't really want to sit here and read it because
we're grateful for them, but there was some that were really like if we read it, especially like not knowing the context, like hearing the person say
the
it with
humor in their voice and the in their voice is so much funnier.
so much better. Because if we read it out, it might not come across the same way.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you've got any stories, we'll be putting a link in our Instagram and in the Spotify description. So Please, absolutely, and like buy anything. We mean literally anything.
Anything, we don't
like,
care.
if you've had a really bad holiday story, like something that like, you know, you did something really wrong on holidays or you went the wrong way and it resulted in this. If you've had a really embarrassing moment, if you've literally anything, it's like dating is always the funny one because it's everyone's got bad
Everyone's
dating
been through it.
stories. So if you've had bad dating stories, please, but anything that you think is embarrassing or anytime you just wanted the
Icks.
earth to swallow you up.
I'm always so interested in icks as well because I've got a few.
Eating an apple is an ick, apparently.
Yeah, there was a few. We did a video on that once, and that was rogue. Some of them icks. The second toe on the right being bigger than the first toe. I've got that.
Some of your icks are just like, come on, man.
What was it the other day? Somebody I was talking to.
Just be a normal human being.
Somebody I was talking to on the phone the other day. My car. I turned my car off, and they kept talking, and then I got the ick from it because I was like, "Well, I can't hear you."
You're funny with icks though, because like people give you the ick so easily, but when I say, "Oh, that's an ick," you go, "No, it's not." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. It doesn't go both ways then, does it?"
Some of your icks are a bit weird though.
And yours aren't. You turned the car off and they kept talking. Oh yeah, I'm off you forever now. Fuck off.
It was good before it finished, eh?
Fuck off. All right, well we're gonna wrap that one there.
Thanks, guys. Love ya.